Good morning. Welcome to Morning Brew with your girl, Germaine. Yes, it is another day that I am grateful that we are here to be able to come and meet with you for Morning Brew. Good morning, Leslie. Good morning. Good morning, Charles Williams Jr. 7 over on Instagram and Jesse Moss 92775. Thank you guys for chiming in for a coffee break with me today. I could use some company, you know? So I'm glad you're here. And I promise I will not keep you long today, but I do want to talk about the power of waiting. That just really dropped in my spirit because I'm actually going through something right now. And it's all about, I believe, allowing me to show, do I have the power to wait on something? Or do I want to take things into my own hands to try to make it happen? And that I don't want to do. So I'm making my coffee right now. So I hear it is brewing. I hear it coming down and I'm so ready for it. So, but please chime in. If you're here, let me know what you're drinking. You don't have to be a coffee drinker to come join me for a coffee break. You can have tea, juice, listen, whatever you decide you want to drink. That's your preference. But I am thankful that you decide to take time out of your busy schedule to just stop by for a cup of coffee or listen, just for some conversation. Okay. Whatever you're drinking in conversation, sip in conversation. Let's say that. All right, guys. So, you know how we do. We take a pause so we can pour in a purpose. So, I just want to say that patience isn't passive, it's preparation. So, good morning, Diana Knox Cooper. My God, the power of waiting. Whoo, child. Sore throat this morning. Yes, the power of waiting. In one of my last messages last week, I've just really shared, and I said that because this platform is really a platform to showcase the power of one story. And so, in this platform, good morning, Black Tech over at Instagram. So, in this platform, you know, everyone has a story, and there is power in your story. And I'm one, as I always say, I work from behind the scenes and everything a lot. So, it took a lot for me to decide to step in front of a camera. It took a lot. And for those that know me, they know that I'm more comfortable in the background, right? And so, bear with me. I'm just, mixing my coffee blend today. And yes, it's hazel. Oh no, it's not hazelnut today. Actually, it is hazelnut creamer, but I am testing out a new, hopefully, partner company's coffee. And I have to tell you, it is amazing. The smell, the aromas is so good. And so we're really excited about this partnership coming into play. So, yes, I'm testing out the coffee. So, I'm going to be drinking some new coffee blends today. All right, guys, enough of the coffee, right? So, but let's get back into this. So, yes, today's message is the power in waiting. And what I decided, because I too have a story. And so I think in this platform, it's important for me as I'm taking from my own messages, my own brew topics, to kind of intertwine and weave my story throughout. Okay, my journey, right? And I would love to hear yours also. And maybe something in my journey may resonate with your journey. And you know what? We could talk about it here. So, but I just been heavy in my spirit. And because over the last week there's just been a lot going on. There's been you never know how your name will resonate, or sometimes you don't even think about it, but one thing can change everything, right? And so just this whole message that, or this news that has been going out in regards to DMX's funeral, like I stated in the last message that talked about purpose, um sometimes God will use you in a place to be able to be a vessel for him, so he can get across what he desires to get across. And I just made myself available for that. So it was something that was literally in silence, but now it's like the world knows about it. And some things you just have to pray that God will strengthen and equip you to move forward. But I don't know why it's weighing on me. It's weighing on me. So, but I am learning in this moment the three things God gave me during the whole course of that time. And mind you, this has been over 4 years because DMX passed away in 2021. So this has been silent for over 4 years. And now here we are today having to talk about some things. But in the process, God is teaching me to wait on Him. Sometimes, well, let me just, for those that may not know, because I'm always assuming people know, I have to stop doing that because you may not know. So, as I referenced before, my partner, Uncle Ray, who was DMX's actual uncle, he knows the power of his story, and he decided now was the time for him to be able to share in his story. So, your story does kind of meet or intertwine with other people's along your journey, and so as he's sharing his story, it's now out. And just as the interviewer, they decided to put clips out, and they put clips out about DMX's funeral and who was responsible for the cost of that funeral. And so I realized that people have a lot of opinions. And I don't know why I decided to let me just go, with all these ads, and this thing went viral, and it's globally, they say that this story has gotten out there. And so people are trying to now protect themselves, for things that they may have said, they've done. Now they're trying to protect themselves. And so with that being said, that's not even my place, and that's not my focus. My focus has been God really show me in this time, how do I need to show up in the world? And the thing is, I'm going to continue to show up as me, authentically me. And a lot of people may say, oh, now your name is out there. You need to do this, this, and this. You need to get ahead of it. You need to do this. And I don't know why there's such a peace in my spirit of God telling me to be still and wait on Him. And that's the position I decided to take. Wait on God. Because remember, this was for God's glory, that God allowed me to be used as a vessel in a time of need to be able to help assist in the financial obligations to help and pay for DMX's funeral services. That's a lot. And people can think about, say whatever, but people don't know my story. They don't know the sacrifices that it took for my story. They don't know the waiting, the long waiting on God to show Himself faithful. They don't know the prayers that were prayed long before this ever came into existence about God, allow me to be the lender and not the borrower, because I have such a heart and compassion for people. People don't know the stories, but everybody has an opinion based on just whatever stories they receive. And I understand that. Listen, everybody has an opinion. You have the right to your opinion, but I have the right to the power of my story and sharing my story, right? So, with that, um, you just keep hearing more things and more things, and I just, I guess because I'm human, and it bothers me when people still frame and shape the stories and want to call people liars. And my only question is, where's your receipts? You don't know the sacrifice it took to be able to share in that moment. You know, you don't know what it took, but it's amazing how people claim ownership over things, but don't know the sacrifice and the price that one had to pay in order for God to be able to use them how He saw fit. And so I'm not really going to get into details. I'm just trusting God through this process. And whatever God decides He wants to do, my life belongs to Him, right? My life belongs to Him. So, henceforth, today's brew was birthed out of just the heaviness, the things that I had just been dealing with over the past week. And I have to tell you, there has been peace. So, it's really being careful to make sure you guard your space, your ears, and what you hear. and not to get ahead of yourself in the flesh, because you could do one wrong thing that could really set you in a whole different direction. So the most important thing is to learn how to wait on God, because he did this. He allowed this. Because if I could be totally honest with you, it was a lot of finance. It was a lot of money. And for me at the time, I know it was all God, because to look and see, I didn't see this large amount of money anywhere over $100,000, anywhere to say, here, I'm going to take care of this. I didn't see that. But I know it was so God, and it was bigger than me and anybody else. It was so bigger than I can even imagine, because he was showing me in answer to my prayers. I will show you what it means to be the lender and not the borrower. I will show you what it means. And that's exactly what he did. Even through the course of time, the year and everything. And thank God for DMX's ex-wife and his children, who was over his estate, because they did exactly what they say they would do, and they actually they paid back that the finances for the funeral over a year later, to be able to just make me whole. So I am so grateful that I know him. I'm so grateful that I know God. I am. I am so grateful that I know God in my life, and that here we are. I'm going to trust him, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And so, yes, the power of waiting. Whew, just learn to be still. And that's what I was saying. Those were the three things God gave me during the course of time in this waiting period, right? It wasn't easy, not at all. I don't have a whole lot of finances, resources, and stuff like that. I'm just like everybody else, right? You work, you make your money, you pay your bills, you live your life, and hopefully throughout your journey, you can do some things that will allow you to appreciate the time in your life that you've worked so hard for, right? And so that's why I know it was God, because I didn't see it, but he saw it, and he made it all possible. So, with that, in the course of that time, God gave me three things: be still, be watchful, do not insert yourself. And he's over time. Those are three, I call them my three mantras from God that he gave me, that was birthed out of the whole DMX experience. And so, with that being said, I literally begin to see the evidence of those three things. Being still. Being still is also a part of a waiting process, because being still doesn't mean you're not doing anything. You're actually doing something, right? Being still is doing something, but you're not being so inclined to move so quickly and hastily in yourself, within your flesh, to do something, to make something possible, to make something happen. So when I say the power of waiting, it's not easy. It literally becomes part of training, discipline, being consistent in that process of knowing what it means, how to wait on God, how to wait on God, how to trust God, how to know that God is going to provide everything you need: access, open door opportunity. And God showed me that during the course of that waiting period, which was over a year. And he shut every door down when there was a need on my end, because he showed me that I got you. And he made provisions for every need along that journey. And he continues to do just that. So I say all this because, once again, let me tell you, we live in a world of instant everything, right? Quick lights, fast food, some same day delivery. But some of the most powerful breakthroughs in life come in the rushing, come not in rushing to move quickly because you see something, because others see something, but in the waiting. So when you wait with intention, you're not wasting time, you're weaving strength. And that's it. So, for whatever reason, hey, one day, nobody really knew the name Germaine. Another day, I don't know if you guys ever Googled yourself, but try Googling yourself, right? See what comes up. Because there was a point in time when I would Google myself. I don't know how this happened, but my name, my face, everything will populate and say I was Masterpiece Sister. I'm not Masterpiece Sister. Like I stated, have no brothers at all, only one sister. And so, with that, I'm not Masterpiece Sister. I am, though, Germaine Miller hyphen Summers, my married name. And I'm a book publisher. I have been for 18 years. You know, God has given me an assignment to help with the power of one story, to be able to put one story in the world. And it's so much more, it's so much more. But and now I have this podcast that I can come on and have coffee with those that's out there to be able to share your stories. So I'm so appreciative of that. But I do have a heart that's postured towards God. So however He sees fit, to the best of my ability, to the best of my knowledge, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So now, with that, you know what time? This is the time that we're going to pour into purpose. Thank you for giving me the space to just be able to share. And you know what? This is so therapeutic for me, this platform, even though I fought so hard. And a lot of those I'm in relationship business with, they know how hard I fought, how consistent I was not. I was not consistent. But I have to tell you, being able to show up every day, Monday through Fridays, it has really helped me to be consistent, to show up and get what I need from it. So I know I'm getting something from it. I hope you're getting something from it. Okay. All right. So let's pour into purpose. So waiting reveals what rushing conceals. Waiting reveals what rushing conceals. All right. So let's talk about it. Stillness brings clarity. I can attest to that. And I think that's why that was the number one thing God gave me when He gave me my three mantras. And He did not give them to me all at once. He gave them to me right on time when I needed to get a word from Him. And stillness, be still, was the first one. And God knows how hard it is. He knew how hard it was for me to be still because I'm a doer. I'm a problem solver. I am always kind of moving, solving problems, doing things. So God knew that that would be tough, being still. And it is. And it was. And I can recall the first time I was told to sit down and be still and do nothing. I cried. Grown woman, I sure enough did. I cried because I felt like I wasn't effective. I felt like I could not be effective if I was being still because I didn't feel like I was doing anything. Boy, did I miss that, right? I've learned a lot because that was years ago. I've learned a lot along this journey that being still is doing something. And the one thing it does bring is clarity. And sometimes in our everyday lives, we might need to take a moment when you have to make a big decision in life. You might want to take a moment. My mentor, Chuck, always says, you know what, before you make any life changing decisions, take 3 days. 3 days before you make a decision. It gives you time to really rest, quiet your spirit, stay focused, get clarity and instructions before we just rush out and do things. So ask yourself, how often when something comes to you, you feel like you have to just rush out, make it happen right now? You could be causing more harm to yourself than good and more harm to those that might need to get something from you. So just take a pause. Take a pause so you can begin to pour into purpose. And it may take some time in the stillness for you to get the clarity you need to move forward. So, waiting reveals what rushing conceals. Another thing, delays expose distractions. Whew, delays, not denial, but delays expose distractions. So it's a lot. I could have rushed out, when these articles started coming out and just put my 2 cents out. I could have did that. I could have responded to a lot of the comments and stuff. I could have did that. Why? I don't know what God is up to. I don't know what God wants to do. I don't know. But here we are, being still and learning how to wait on Him. You discover what truly matters when waiting. So, what truly matters, and my spiritual mentor, Chuck, he challenged me with this. God gave you, He gave that to you for you to do that. Is it important that your name is known, or is it important that you wait on Him? So, what He gave you, be still. Because God gives increase. God opens doors, gets and gives opportunities. God is the one that will put favor on somebody's heart to be able to bless you. That's what He did for me in this whole situation. When my business partner came to me and he was so broken because all he wanted was to give his nephew the proper home going. And so, with that, God laid it on my heart. He laid it on my heart. And I went to my husband and I mentioned it to my husband what was happening. And my husband gave me his blessings. I didn't ask my husband for the financial resource. I didn't. But my husband gave me his blessings to be able to do what God was doing with me. And the thing is, remember, my prayers have always been, God, make me the lender, not the borrower. And God has been so faithful to do that. And it blows my mind. Let God blow your mind. Let God blow your mind, because I've come to realize I believe money grows on trees, money falls from the sky, money will show up in the mailbox. My faith is just that. I believe that. Even when it looks real bleak and it's like, what? I ain't got 2 nickels, right? To rub together to try to get 10 cents, right? But God, trust God. For those that are really going through, and boy, we are in a time right now, we are in a season right now, people are really going through not knowing how to make a way, how to provide. I promise you, God will lay on your heart to be a blessing to someone, even when you're in a lack position. God will do just that. And then He will make all the provisions possible, even when you still scratch your head like, God, how is this even possible? But God, He'll do just that for you. He'll do just that for you. And that's why I'm so glad He blessed me with this platform, because even in my spirit, when He dropped, even in my spirit, the $1 a day, the power of $1, the power of $1, God dropped that in my spirit over 20 years ago. And I've been waiting on God to show me the effectiveness and how that would work 20 years ago. And I've been in a waiting process, even for that, the power of $1. And He just began to show me through connectivity. People have hearts that are postured in the same position, want to be a blessing for someone, but just don't know how. So $1 may not seem like a lot, but $1 collectively can help bless so many people. So, but we'll talk about that, because that's a waiting period also that God has had me in until He's ready to reveal when it's time. And so I don't know. And I talk about it even here, the buymeacoffee.com/morning brew with Germaine, for as little as $1. Those monies don't go to me. Those monies literally sit in an account. They sit there to be able to provide a need collectively from more than just me, but from community, to know that our love and support is able to help someone in need that would never know. Sometimes they may never know who the blessing came from. They may never know. And then sometimes God may drop in your spirit to do just that, to sow into someone else's life. So listen, God is amazing in how he operates and how he decides he wants to use us. My advice to you is just make yourself available, because you'll never know how he wants to use you to be effective for his glory, not my glory, his glory. So let me continue to get into this. I feel like I'm in, my pulpit. But no, this has just been so on me, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful if it's just me speaking to me in this platform, but I'm so grateful because you know what? You never know how your story can touch a heart, set someone free, be a blessing for someone. You never know how your story can do that. So let's pour a little more into purpose. That preparation happens in the pause. So character is redefined when no one is watching. I think that's why I struggle so with everything that's happening right now, because no one would have ever known, but the core people that knew. No one would have never known. And I was okay with that because it wasn't about me. I was okay with that because God was able to trust me with something, and I wanted to be able to honor him. And so I think that's why I struggle right now, is because everybody has opinion or thought on it. Everybody claims ownership over it, but I'm still going to remain. God, you did all this, and so you can handle all that. And that's where I'm going to live, in that space right there. Because there's so many people that God has allowed me to just so quietly as a blessing, even when there was a lack on my end. But God, that's why it's like I will always give God the honor and the glory because of what he does. So those that are really going through, if God sincerely lays something on your heart to do something, that's because he already knows how it's going to be handled and taken care of. He already knows how he's going to supply your need for you. He already knows. So my advice is trust him. Even when you can't trace him, trust him. All right, guys. So preparation happens in the pause. So patient builds resistance and vision. Patience. That's another strong word. That's another thing that's hard to accomplish. Patience. And yes, be careful when you pray for patience, because it may show up in a way that does not feel like patience. Okay. So, but once again, pray for those areas that you may lack in, pray for those things you may be of need of, and just know that God can show up any way he sees fit to make sure you learn exactly that thing you need or you're praying for. All right. Don't just endure the wait, engage in it. So I see some of the comments. Amen. He will provide everything you need. Yes, he will. And I know sometimes this flesh gets ahead of us and we want to just make it happen ourselves, but take a pause before you do that. Even when the pressure feels like it's so hot, and it's getting so tight and it's like the last moment, please, please make sure that is not in yourself, that is not flesh making the decision, but that God is really ordering your steps and leading you. Because I don't care if it's down to the last minute of something needing to happen. God has a way of showing up, giving favor, giving grace, giving exactly what you need. So please, whatever you may be facing, whatever you may be dealing with, it may not always show up monetary or anything like that, and it doesn't have to, but it may show up in ways that gives you the peace of mind that you need in him, to know that he got me even when I didn't think he did. So be mindful when you want to rush in and make it happen because you just panic and it just has to happen. So just quiet your spirit, be still for a moment, and just wait. Take a pause and just wait and watch God be God in your life. Listen, He will do it. Okay. All right. So this is the final pour into purpose, but the right time delivers lasting results. Yes, the right time will deliver lasting results. And with that, we are so, I tell you, we as people, we want to control the outcome of everything. Be honest with yourself. You're probably like that also in some cases. You need to know every part, every piece, every dot, every cross T. You need to know every single part of that thing in order for you to know what the outcome is going to look like. And that's the beauty in the power of waiting. I have no idea the outcome of what God is going to do with all of this, right? But I'm going to trust him. I'm going to wait on him because what God does and what he delivers will have a lasting result, not this instant gratification that we just need to feel good in our flesh for the moment. But that's your reward right there. God already sees how all the parts look fit together, how all the pieces connect. He already sees who he has in mind that because of your waiting, he knows they're going to receive exactly what they need, somebody you may never even cross paths with. But trust him and wait on him. Well, it's your decision, but for me, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, with that, the right time delivers lasting results. So, forced timing produce fragile outcomes. Divine alignment brings favor and flow. Divine alignment will bring favor and flow. And when it's time, you'll know and you'll be ready. So, when it's time, God will let me know. He'll let me know. And you know what? He will make sure I'm prepared and ready for the time. So, whew, guys, I said I wasn't going to keep you long. I'm not. But this is a part that we all can take part in. Yes, I have two reflection questions that I want to leave you with. Two reflection questions that I really want to leave you with. So, what area of your life is calling you to wait with intention instead of frustration? Only you can answer that. I had to let my coffee cool off because it was super hot. So, what area of your life is calling you to wait with intention instead of frustration? That's the first question. All right. So the second question is, how can you better prepare during this waiting season? Like I always say, these questions, they're for me also. So I have to take these questions. I have to think about these questions. I let them steep and I let them brew. And then it's like, that's how. That's how I'm going to answer that. And it may not come right away. It may come a few days later. It can come a month later or so. But those questions, I think they're so important, and I'm so glad to be able to leave you with those as thought questions, reflection questions that you can take with you along your journey. And whenever it's time for it to harvest your thoughts, then you know what? Take a moment and really listen to it. Your responses and your answers. All right, guys. So this is the time we're getting ready to come into the final sip, but I do want to, because it is on my heart, right? I do want to share and how, if you decide that it's on your heart to support Morning Brew with Germaine, that we may be able to support the communities and those out there that are in need, then you know what? It's on my heart to share this. And as hard as this is to share things like this, I don't know. I'm just being obedient. And so here we go, guys. Stand by. Welcome to Morning Brew with your girl Germaine on Buy Me a Coffee. Every cup you buy helps fuel inspiration, conversations, and creative content for our growing community. So grab a seat, stop by for a coffee break, sip with us, and thank you so much for pouring into purpose with me. Morning Brew, I'll see you in the next coffee break. So thank you for, and you know what, I do like to add up because I never want to not give someone the opportunity to sow a seed in something that they believe in. And so I do want to just put up, let me remove that, but I do want to put up, let me get this together. Okay, I want to put up the QR code that makes it easier, but it is buymeacoffee.com/morning brew with Germaine. So I do appreciate everyone that has sown a seed, and there will be reports of how your seeds have been a blessing to those in need. So thank you so much for just taking the time, taking your hard earned resources to just sow as little as $1. So thank you. I appreciate it more than you will ever realize. All right, so let's get back into this space of the final sip. Thank you guys for joining me for this coffee break. And here's the final sip. Don't fear the pause. There's power in the process. Your delay is not your denial, it's your development. So, you know how we do. We sip slow. And you know what? Let me remove this off the screen. So, you know how we do, but we do sip slow. I want you to take breath. I want you to breathe deep. Let's try that. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. Let's do it one more time. One more time together. Let's breathe deep. Release. That felt really good. And then trust the timing. So, once again, there is power in waiting. And if you're someone that's in that space right now, trust God and wait and let Him reveal to you. It will have a lasting result. I mean, it will last a lot longer than you taking it upon yourself to just do it, right? But thank you. And as a reminder, if you have not, I know you may be watching on different platforms and stuff, but we are really looking to build our YouTube platform. And so we're over 11,000 there globally. So if you can, please just go in and subscribe to Morning Brew with Germaine on YouTube. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you're always alerted when a new Morning Brew comes or when some new content comes. And then make sure you put your thumbs up if you like what we're talking about, if you like these brew sessions or these coffee breaks. Okay, so I really look forward to that, and thank you so much once again for just taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. And when I started this, I said I really needed to lean on my community. So, guys, thank you so much for allowing me to lean on you. Thank you. And be able to pour out and share. I feel a lot lighter right now. I do. And the thing is, I'm just going to trust God through the process. Hey, He got me just like He got all of you. So, all right, guys, have a wonderful day. And guess what? I'll be back tomorrow, God willing, and we could do this all over again with a different coffee brew topic. I'll see you soon. Be safe out there. Thank you.